Tonight on KGW News, karma catches up with a burglar who rappelled into a Portland store.
The video is pretty humorous, at least.
And hospitals are dealing with a nursing shortage across the country.
It is a little daunting to hear that so many nurses have been stepping away from the bedside since the pandemic has started.
How local schools are preparing students to step in. Plus, cultural leaders plead with Portland to clean up Old Town.
All of this is too much to ignore and not address.
Your news starts now.
Good evening, I'm Laurel Porter. Thanks for joining us. The rise in gun violence is not just contained to Portland. A teenager was shot today in Gresham and ran to his high school for help. Catherine Cook has more tonight on how the school helped him and how Multnomah County leaders are trying to tackle the problem.
You know, I live 3 blocks from here. I don't want people being shot.
A reasonable wish, but one that isn't coming true for Norm Benson and others who live near Southeast 182nd and Division.
I feel unsafe. I don't really want to live over here anymore. You know, I want to move.
The latest case of gun violence unfolded Monday morning in this shopping center parking lot. Gresham police say someone shot a teenager near the Dollar Tree. The teen ran across the parking lot to Rosemary Anderson East Campus, where he's a student. Staff cared for him and called 911. In a statement, school president and CEO Joe McFerrin II said, "When I picked up the phone and got the news, my heart sank. Sadly, our organization is dealing with gun violence directly every day, and when it involves a student, it is especially heartbreaking."
School officials here tell us the student was released from the hospital Monday afternoon. They say he was shot in the hand and is expected to make a full recovery.
Welcome to the executive committee.
Just hours after this shooting, the Multnomah County Local Public Safety Coordinating Council held its monthly executive committee meeting.
As we know that the people that are involved in crimes know no boundaries.
Multnomah County Sheriff Mike Reese was among those to speak about the county's gun violence prevention initiative that's still in the works.
In too many of our neighborhoods, gun violence is eroding away our sense of safety and security.
Reese says so far this year there have been 81 homicides in Multnomah County, most from gun violence. By the end of September, the sheriff's office had seized 742 firearms. The county's gun violence prevention initiative has 4 parts created from a public health approach: define the problem, identify risk and protective factors, develop and test prevention strategies, and finally, assure widespread adoption.
We have to be able to understand the root causes. We have to be able to understand the who, the what, the where, and the when.
It's too bad, you know.
Neighbors like Norm hope that approach works, but just looking at Monday's shooting, it's hard for him to explain any of it.
Society should be getting better, not worse. Crime should be going down.
In Gresham, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And this comes after a weekend where Portland saw 13 shootings in just 28 hours. One happened near McCoy Park in North Portland late Friday night. Between all of the scenes, more than 150 shell casings were found. In another incident, shots were fired in Southeast Portland outside Harrison Park School. Witnesses there heard a dozen gunshots. One stray bullet hit the school, another hit a home with someone inside.
People forget these are only wooden houses and the bullets will go right through. So the people start shooting bullets and geez, you know. Don't want to see that, but.
Only 2 arrests have been made so far. Anyone with information is urged to contact Portland police. Cultural leaders in Old Town have continued to ask the city for support, battling crime and other safety issues in the neighborhood. But now they're stepping up the urgency. 4 cultural organizations based in Old Town sent a letter to city leaders asking them to meet with them by October 22nd and lay out specific commitments to support the neighborhood. The groups cite crime and vandalism as huge issues right now. The letter says in part, we need to hear the city's plan for adding police and combating rising crime. And we need the county to step up and deploy mental health professionals in our neighborhood, which was recently described as an open-air psychiatric ward. Last month, we talked to the director of the Long Su Chinese Garden, which is one of the groups in the letter. She says they've been dealing with violence toward both staff and visitors.
I have had staff in their cars chased with people chasing after them with metal pipes. We had somebody die on the streets right next to Lansu. We have had gunshots. All of this is too much to ignore and not address. We will do what is necessary for us to keep our staff, our visitors, and our volunteers safe.
We did check with city leaders tonight and heard back from Commissioner Mingus Mapp's office. He says he's working to set up a meeting with the groups this Thursday. We'll be sure to follow up. New at 11, Oregon State Representative Bill Post is resigning. He told the Kaiser Times his resignation will take effect at the end of November. His term's not up until January of 2023. Post has been the District 25 representative since 2014. He announced last month he would not seek re-election and said he'd move to Nevada. A board of commissioners from Yamhill and Marion County will choose a replacement to serve in his seat for next year. Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. Oregon State Police helped Portland police tamp down street racing yesterday. They sent officers out in areas where street racing has become dangerous. They say more than 50 racers showed up, but because there were so many officers, they weren't able to race. Police arrested 2 people, including one who crashed into a police car while trying to get away. 21 others got tickets. This was why Interstate 84 was closed all weekend near the Lloyd District. ODOT installed part of a new pedestrian and bike bridge over the interstate. The new bridge will be named in honor of longtime Oregon Congressman Earl Blumenauer. There's still more work to be done. The car-free bridge is expected to open sometime next year. And Kaiser Permanente healthcare workers have overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike. Just a few weeks ago, we saw this rally outside the Kaiser building in Northeast Portland. About 96% of the nearly 3,400 nurses and health professionals voted to strike. They want changes in staffing levels and higher pay. If a strike is scheduled, Kaiser management will get 10 days notice before it starts. The threatened strike is happening as hospitals face a worsening nurse shortage. The pandemic has led to burnout and many people leaving their careers. Alma McCarty went to the University of Portland's nursing school to get a better idea of the current challenges for new nursing classes. Alma?
Well, although nursing school applications and enrollment have held steady at the University of Portland and at other programs across our area, the schools are tackling some unique COVID-specific issues.
A new school year is underway at the University of Portland. Senior Alicia Rollins is one of the more than 900 undergraduate nursing students enrolled here.
I've loved it. It's probably the best decision I've ever made.
She's not regretting her decision amid a raging pandemic that has not only impacted her coursework, but the field she's soon to join.
If anything, being a nurse or a student nurse in this pandemic has showed me how much I am needed.
For them to make that decision that this is still a profession that they want to come into, they are passionate about it. They are committed. It really is this calling.
Dr. Casey Shillum is the dean of the university's nursing school.
We know that the nursing workforce is in a crisis. They are absolutely exhausted. They are feeling burnt out. They are feeling that they really need to have that additional support. And we're seeing nurses leave the workforce because of that.
Now more than ever, her students need to be ready to meet the need upon graduation. And they're not just using mannequins to train. Nursing students also run through all types of medical simulations with live actors. The rest of the class observing the interaction in real time.
They then go back into that debriefing room, and that's where they're able to deconstruct what happened.
Dr. Shillum said this is the future when it comes to teaching nursing students as a highly effective way to build clinical reasoning judgment. But she said there needs to be an emphasis, too, on bringing these new nurses into the fold when they graduate. Dr. Shillum explained how her students' clinical placements in hospitals were often put on pause during the pandemic.
Students have not been able to consistently get those experiences, so when they are going into practice as a new graduate, they haven't had the experience that the health system is used to them having. I think that the future is a wide open canvas right now, and we know that we have some really great solutions, and we're working on putting those into place. I think that the education pipeline for people coming into the profession is really the place we need to focus first and foremost.
Despite hurdles ahead,
it is a little daunting to hear that so many nurses have been stepping away from the bedside and since the pandemic has started.
Rollins is ready to be part of the change for the better.
Healthcare is changing after the pandemic, and I think our generation of nurses can really make an impact.
In Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
A grim milestone in Oregon. Over the weekend, the state surpassed 4,000 deaths since the pandemic began. 1,000 of those were reported in just the last 2 months. This graph shows weekly COVID-related deaths in Oregon. The numbers have, thankfully, been going down since a peak in late August.